promise people some better scenery, but the weather certainly hasn't played ball. So the weather's shite, but what's it? Scout Scar it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And this is the old race course.
Yeah. This is my brother-in-law Sam, who's doing a bit of Maffetone training, is it? You do?
Yeah. Wait a minute, man.
Just very quickly, I thought I'd best point out, because the wind noise in some of these video clips actually makes it quite difficult to hear what we were talking about. But basically, Sam has recently got into training following the Maffetone method for running, which I'm going to do a little bit of research into myself. But from what I gather, the basis behind it is obviously trying to do the bulk of your training at a very low heart rate, and you keep it. You basically they give you some formula to kind of work out like a max heart rate, which it's difficult to do without having a lab test, but you can kind of get an approximation, but it's not going to be perfect. But basically what they do is they work out a theoretical max heart rate, and then they give you a zone, an aerobic zone, which you train in, and Sam's basically trying to keep quite strictly to this zone, which is why when we're running you can see him checking his watch a lot to make sure he's trying to keep in this zone. I think considering what I'm about to go through with chemo, the concept of being able to train easy and still make improvements is actually quite a nice one, because I'm going to be using that much of my body's resources to try and recover from the chemotherapy drugs and the treatment, to the idea of maybe being able to do easy, gentle training and still see a nice benefit from it is definitely worth looking into. So I'll drop some links below, so if you're interested in learning a bit more about the Maffetone method, just have a click down the links below and have a read for yourself. It might be something that you're interested in. So Sam does quite a bit of fell running and things around the lakes. We're over towards Kendal here, and it's something I've always fancied the idea of. Every time I try it, it knocks hell out of it. It's a hell of a lot more difficult than running on a road, but you get much nicer scenery when the weather's nice, certainly when you get the top bit.
It is nice.
That's good for me. We get a nice view over that way. These are the kind of trails, quite broken and stuff, so you do have to kind of watch where you place your feet, but I suppose once you get used to it, it's not so bad. But it's much more interesting than running around the industrial estate here, so. And even though it looks awful, it's actually quite nice, it's quite cool. So with this temperature with a bit of sun, it would be wicked.
This is just like, it just kills me, like having to go slower than this.
I suppose it almost feels like counterproductive, doesn't it?
Yeah. I feel fine, I want to run, but too high.
So just like when you're out, so say if you go out for an hour, you just have to try and get as much as you can just in that little bit.
Basically going to get it all between, well for me, 127 to 137.
I suppose you only need a little,
dropped in now.
You only need a tiny little lump and then suddenly it jumps back out again.
I think it's because I'm quite heavy. When I have to get it up a hill, my heart has to put a right bit of graft in, I think. Let's see. I forgot to say, when you come through that last gate, the boundary for the lakes is down this wall. So we're out of the park on the national park on the race course. In it here, out of it here.
And back out of it again.
Yeah, and then when we get to the top we're back in it.
So is it like that wall's the boundary kind of thing for the Lake District?
That's the Lake District, this isn't.
Is there any like weird bylaws you've got to keep an eye on one side of the wall, or?
It's Cumbria, it's all weird.
view over the edge. Rocks. We're all the way at the edge. Gives you an idea of the height we've covered so far.
This is Barrowfield Wood.
Be nice under a bit of sunlight.
And over that wall there is Windermere.
Ah, sweet. It's actually a bit closer than you realise when you look at the map.
There's an old story about up here somewhere. I can't remember when it was, 100 years ago. There was a guy found out his wife had been cheating on him. So he brought her up here. Just hide her off it. Bit extreme, but yeah, what he did.
Yeah, I think his reactions go, that's probably a bad one, like. At least the rain's easy enough. Yeah, one thing I've kind of noticed is I brought my regular road running trainers and a little bit of wet up here and things like that, and a bit uneven ground. There's a few times there you've probably seen already I've nearly slipped over. So I'm going to do this a lot. I think I would like a trail specific cue where you've got a bit of grip underfoot would be not there. You don't really need the padding so much when you're up here because you've got the ground. The ground's a lot softer, isn't it? So because the grip's a lot nicer to have.
The way chucks her off here.
That'd be a sore fall, like what a grim story. What happened to Beatrix Putter World and all the nice stories about the Lake District and stuff?
Grim cumbering tales.
Scout Scar then, eh?
This one here, one of Kendall's premier dogging spots. Particularly ideal location included.
There you go, subs, that is some proper local knowledge, that. I'm sure it's not from experience though, is it? Just full disclosure, we wouldn't do stuff like that.
I'll see how beach it. The bonus of doing this speed as well. weekend in March.
There you go, if you want to have a get into the area, first weekend of March.
Fully flagged, £5. Absolute bargain.
About 6 miles you say, yeah?
That's right.
5 mile fast fell race, so first week of March if anybody's interested.
Part of the Kendall Winterley series. Which is basically how my club makes money. If we head down here and then come through the towns like we did in that dip, and then we can climb out up onto
Oh, sweet. Oh, jump! There we go. And we've got the added benefit, we've got to get there before we run out of battery. So, let's see us at Cunswick Tarn. Right, unfortunately, bit of a rookie mistake. I managed to go out with a half a GoPro battery, which I'll try and make sure never happens again. So we managed to miss the descent off Cunswick Scar, but pretty much from where we were there at Cunswick Scar at the Cairn, it was pretty much just a straight downhill round a place called Cunswick Fell, and then into the back of the town, and the house was just basically, as you came back onto the main drag into the town, we just straight along the street and we were back home. So all I can say really is despite the weather, it was a really nice run. It's such a massive change of pace being able to go and run in the hills. And basically I woke up this morning, actually, considering the run at the time felt really easy, I woke up this morning feeling like I'd done a pretty heavy leg session in the gym. I mean, my hamstrings, my quads, everything was just, the muscles were solid. So I mean, you can really see the benefit of training in a place like this where you're up and down and all the little muscles in your legs are constantly working to stabilize you, and sort of just it felt like a really good session. I've got the I'll pop the thing up on Strava on the screen here now. It came up, it was I think it's like a shade over 10k, and the pace, you'll notice it's pretty much like 10-minute miles. I mean, some of the points there, especially when we were trying to keep the heart rates down and stuff, when you're on the inclines, it's so easy to get a bit ahead of yourself. And then, like Sam was saying in some of the clips, you've got to be really disciplined to try and keep your heart rate down, especially when you're sort of trying to work your way up big hills. But yeah, it was a really good day, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing some more. I'm hoping if I do get to do some more sometime soon, the weather might play a ball with us, and we'll get to get some nice shots where we can see a bit further into the distance. The one that I'm really hoping to do soon, that's coming from Glenridden up to Red Tarn. Just essentially, it's going to follow the route where you would normally descend off Helvellyn, but we're just going to go run up through the campsite, join the downward path, and then basically it's just going to go up through the valley, follow the stream. We'll go up to Red Tarn, hopefully, like, I don't know, maybe have a quick drink, back down the hill, and then hopefully something to eat in the pub if it's open. So but that's the plan for the next one in the lakes. I'm not sure when I'll get to do it, hopefully in the next week or two, but there'll be some information to come, probably about what treatment I get, so that might scupper plans a little bit, but hopefully everything will go well. And that's about it, so I'll leave you there. If you have enjoyed the video, just give it a thumbs up. Again, if you want to kind of show some support on the Cancer to Corner journey, link in the description to the Just Given page, which it's going to be running constant total as long as we can go, from whenever all the way through the Ironman and things like that, and every penny goes towards brain tumour research, and hopefully hopefully it'll all get put to good use. But yeah, until next time, and hoping for better weather, I'll catch you later.